What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. Today we're going to be breaking down the best NFL route running from Week 17. We're going to be looking at these routes here from Antonio Brown, and we're going to be looking at routes from Davante Adams and even more. So I hope you guys get some value out of this. Hope it teaches you a few things about route running and how you guys can create as much separation as possible on your routes, okay? But also, fellas, if you guys are local to one of the 9 cities listed on the screen here, Tampa, Florida, Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California, we are going to be traveling out to those locations for 2-day-long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB training camps. We'd love to have you guys out there. Spots are going to be limited to only 10 to 12 players per position group, per age group. So we're splitting the camp up into a youth section and a high school section. Every single athlete will have a chance to work with me and my staff of former D1 coaches and NFL players. So I hope you guys can check that out. Very first link below. We'd love to have you guys out. Like I said, we're going to have DBs out there for 1-on-1, 7-on-7, game realistic work. So again, 2 whole day camps. Check out that very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So we're looking at this route from Antonio Brown. Interesting day yesterday, to say the least. You can only hope that he, starts to figure some things out. But this is a great route, and that's what we do here. We talk about the route running. We don't really necessarily focus on off the field stuff. So when we have a situation where I have an inside shade DB, right? And I kind of just go straight to the outside release. A lot of the times that DB, what he's going to try to do, he's going to try to force me to the sideline. He's going to try to completely get into my hip and close off the space, right? Close like any kind of field space that I have to make it a tough throw for that quarterback if he's trying to throw a vert, right? So Antonio Brown does a great job of reacting off of this, right? So when he comes off of here, I honestly think that off the line, maybe if we attack his leverage a little bit more, we don't necessarily have to do this move. If we maybe square him up, we give him a quick move, then we take the outside, we keep him honest to the inside. But if we just run straight to the outside, that's what this DB is going to do. He's going to get right into my hip and force me to the sideline. But this is a great job. That's why he's one of the best route runners ever played the game, is that he's able to react off of this DB. So when he comes off of here and he bursts up to the outside, you see this DB, this is a horrible position to be in if he were running a fade, right? Because the quarterback he doesn't have any space to fade him in. He has to throw a pretty much perfect ball, right? We're running a stop route though, right? So he's running a stop route. So he swats the arm of the defender. He attacks back to the inside to force that DB to speed turn. This is how you attack the blind spot of a DB, right? Then he works back to the outside. And now, again, this is just the whole concept of this route is attacking that blind spot. You want to attack where that DB cannot see you. And that's whether it's against zone coverage, whether it's against man coverage, where he's having to flip his hips like so. But if we can get into that blind spot and we can threaten him where he cannot see me and I can run fast, that forces him to have to bail out of there, right? It's no different than like if I had to run let's say I had to run like a post curl route, for example. And let's say I take the outside release here. And let's say I swat the DB by and I break back here and then I snap this thing right off. I'm working in the blind spot while that DB is speed turning, and that's what gives me space. So attacking the blind spot is one of the best ways that you guys can get a ton of separation, right? So that's what Antonio Brown does. Swats the hands, works back to the blind spot. See how that DB's going off of feel. He feels his speed, and then he has this sudden drop right into that break. That's what you guys want to do on this specific route versus that specific coverage. If you have to run like a stop route, fade route, whatever it is, and you maybe force the release, I guess you could say, where that DB's walling you right into that sideline, you got to work back into that blind spot. You have to threaten him in some kind of direction. You have to make your routes look like something else to be able to get as much space possible. And that sounds like basic advice. Make your routes look like something else. Like that's pretty basic. Like, yeah, no shit. That's what you want to do. But you got to make sure that we attack the blind spot anytime that I could get a DB to flip his hips and bail and the situation calls for it. Great overall route there by Antonio Brown. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Again, probably could have attacked his leverage and we wouldn't have to do these kind of moves. But again, we have to be able to react. The receiver position is about reacting sometimes to what that DB does and how can we be successful when reacting off of that guy, okay? So now we're going to be looking at this stutter go route here from A.J. Green. This is a perfect textbook stutter go. This is about as good as it gets from the top to the bottom with the catch, everything. So it's watching full speed. So he comes off here. Great job giving that stutter, getting that DB to bite, and then being able to make this play over the top with late hands, okay? So now let's talk about it, right? So when he comes off of here and we're bursting up, number one thing is like we got to make it look like what? Everything, whether it's a double move, whether it's a 5-yard, or whether it's a 3-step slant, a 5-yard hitch, or a 15-yard comeback. At a certain point, got to look like a fade, right? And so if he were to be running a curl route, a comeback route, a stop route, what would he be doing? He'd be running full speed. So we have to make my routes look similar, right? So when he comes off of here, he gives this stutter, right? Now, the thing is that DB gets his eyes caught in the backfield, and that's what kills him because obviously you don't want to be looking at the backfield, don't want to be looking at that quarterback when it's man coverage. But that sudden hip drop is what forced that DB to put his eyes back there, right? He should be watching his hips and everything, but I think we still get him even if he does watch his hips because you see how Green drops his hips. This stutter stutter go, he still changes levels with his pad level. Not a ton. It's not like some violent snap down, but there's a level change right there. And that level change, even if that DB is watching your hips, that can still get him. We just have to make sure that we drop. Guys, what they like to do is they give like a little stutter, but they don't actually drop their butt down. They just stutter their feet, and that's not going to get a DB to bite on this fake. That doesn't make him think that you're running a curl, a comeback route. In the NFL, to be able to get out of a route moving at that kind of speed, you have to be able to drop your hips. So that's what we have to make it look like. Now, when I get this DB to jump on the route, what do you think was very important right here? We have to keep my head down because my goal is to widen the space from this DB. Diggs, probably a fast dude who's got great recovery speed. Any DB at this level is going to be extremely fast, is going to have extremely great recovery skills. So as a wide receiver, especially at the high school level, college level, whatever it is, youth level, when you guys get separation on a double move, like a hitch and go, slant and go, anything that's a vertical portion, you have to keep your head down. My goal is to widen the gap. If I start looking back for the ball right away, all that DB is going to do is have time to recover. We have to keep my head down. I have to pump my arms, and I'm not looking until I have him by about 3 steps. They will teach you that in college. Do not look until you have this guy open or expect a back shoulder, okay? So make sure, fellas, that anytime on a double move, that quarterback is putting it to a spot. He is not waiting for you to be open. He is putting it to a spot. AJ Green's looking back for that ball, and that ball should already be in the air. Now, textbook job over the top, having late hands. It is super important on a double move, especially if it's underthrown. We do not want to give this DB any inclination that he can make a play on this ball. I want him to have no idea when that ball's coming in, no idea when the ball's dropping, and you see that's exactly what AJ Green does. His hands are extremely late on this thing, and Diggs does not have time to react on it. That's a hell of a route right there. It's a hell of a job having those late hands over the top to make that play. So make sure, fellas, we're violent with my hips. I actually dropped to get him to bite on the fake. I have to keep my head down to accelerate and widen the distance, and I have to make sure that I'm late with my hands to give that DB no time to react on this thing. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. Great job selling fade. Great job selling the stop route with his hip change. Great job keeping his head down and then finishing the play with late hands. Okay, now we're going to look at this route from Davante Adams, you guys. So he's going to be running this fade route. And again, same thing we were talking about. Great example of having late hands over the top. But I want to talk to you about just like his level change of his release, or not level change, but more so speed change of his release. So let's watch it full speed. So he gets a little hesitation skip, bursts up to the outside, then bam. All you need with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers is a couple steps, right? Especially if you guys have a talented quarterback, you only need a couple steps. You don't need a ton of steps. You don't need to be open by 5 yards every single play. So that's what Adams understands, and Adams does a great job of making his routes look similar, like we were talking about in the very beginning of this video. How many times have we seen Davante Adams just burn DBs on slants, right? Happens pretty often. Happens, pretty common thing, right? So when he comes off the line, he gives that same little hesitation skip. How many times have you seen him hesitate, hit a double move, like hit a crossover, like he would do like a left and a right move, DB jumps, and then we beat him on a slant. We got about 5 yards of space. So you want to pair routes. To be an elite wide receiver, you have to be able to pair routes. You have to be able to make your slant routes, your fade routes. You have to be able to make them look the same. Right? So when he's doing this release, he's making it look just like his slant. He gives that little hesitation. DB wants to sit to the inside, try to take away slant. All right, that's fine. I'm going to take him on the fade. And that's how you guys win. That is how you guys have a plan off the line where a DB can't prepare for you. Why do you think Davante Adams is so successful week after week after week? What he does is not complicated. Reason why he's successful is because you can't prepare for what he does, because it's different every single time. As a DB, you are guessing. You don't know what the receiver's doing. So if you make it look the same, if you run a slant a certain way and then you run the fade the exact same way, he's going to guess wrong on one of them, right? So if he guesses wrong on the fade and he sits to the inside like so, we got him on the fade. We don't even have to burn him. We just got him by a couple yards, and you see that's a big pickup. So now let's think about this, and this was early on in the game. Let's think this DB's playing this now. So now he hesitates, that DB jumps to the outside, bam, I hit him with a 1-2, now I got him on a slant. And he's going to be constantly playing that guessing game, constantly trying to anticipate what we were doing throughout the game, and that's how we win, and that's how we get the most separation possible, guys. I talk about this all the time with Adams. More people need to do this, pair routes together. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. Great job hesitating, bursting upfield, and then being late with those hands to give that DB no time to react. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Always appreciate the feedback, and obviously it's always great to hear from you guys. If you guys have any content that you guys would like to see next, please don't hesitate. Again, leave those in the comment section. I read all of them, so your feedback is much, much appreciated. And again, fellas, if you guys are local to one of those 9 cities that we are traveling to, Tampa, Houston, Phoenix, Newark, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles, we'd love to have you out to one of our 2 whole day camps. We're going to be having quarterbacks, wide receivers, and DBs for one-on-one, 7-on-7, all the above. 2 days of position-specific work. Check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.